Hi, I'm Jeff Dixon. Welcome to Mosquito Bites Mysteries, Florida's Unknown History. I think I got that title right. If I did, it's probably the first time in this whole series I got the title right. And if I didn't, it's just another week. But there is a mystery and a part of Florida history that I'm willing to almost bet you don't know about unless you don't listen to this whole episode and you Google it before you hear me talk. Don't do that. Just listen to what I say and then you go back and check it later. I want to tell you about someone who was on the verge of greatness. His name was Dr. John Gorrie. Dr. John Gorrie is a name that is kind of lost in the history of Florida, but he could have gone down in history as one of the greatest medical minds in the history. He could have been an inventor in the same level as Edison. Instead, for him, he died in poverty and nearly forgotten. And for years, his story stayed in obscurity until right now. In 1833, Gorrie established his medical practice in Apalachicola, Florida, where he encountered a widespread medical condition, yellow fever. He did not know that the disease was related to mosquitoes, but he did believe that the hot weather played a role. And if he could provide patients with cool air, the disease might improve. Not bad thinking, right? And so he put together a crude system that forced air over blocks of ice suspended from the ceiling. His system cooled the room, but he faced a major problem, getting the ice. Because the ice was harvested at the time in large blocks during the winter months in the north. And so, as you can imagine, getting it to Florida was difficult and expensive. So he went on work to make a machine that would produce ice. He worked on one of the first ice machines. And within a year, he could make ice for himself and he could cool the rooms in a small hospital. A machine that would make ice and cool rooms should have swept the country. I mean, that's revolutionary. We're talking about the 1800s here. However, Gorrie was widely mocked. Newspapers, for whatever reason, questioned whether his invention was for real, and they even used the word crank to describe him. Ice harvesters, a huge industry in the north, saw Gorrie as a threat and organized a campaign to discredit him. And that's why you've never heard of him. Because the ice manufacturers in the north saw him as a threat. If he had figured out a machine that would make ice that was manageable and usable, no matter where you were in the country, it was going to hurt their bottom line. And it always comes down to money, doesn't it? So it seems. And their campaign to discredit him worked. His financial backer died, and Gorrie was soon broke. He had put every nickel that he had, all his life savings, into his invention. He even adopted a false name because his name had become a punchline in the state of Florida and in national news circles. Eventually, discredited, called a crank, called a threat, called a wacko, he became a hermit, and he died in obscurity at the age of 52. And that's how the story almost ends. Until the state of Florida did recognize his greatness. And so today, you can see his statue in the United States Capitol. And people walk by it and look at it and they have no idea who they're looking at, why it's there. It was only after the state of Florida recognized the brilliance of a man that was discredited that they pushed and that statue was created. What does it mean to us? Well, that's unknown Florida history. Now you know something about the history you didn't know before. You know about a man by the name of Dr. John Gorrie, who in some ways invented what was the first practical ice machine. What a great invention. Never got credit for it, never made a dime on it. Remember, you may not be recognized for what you do in the course of this lifetime. But what Dr. Gorrie was doing was very important. And he was trying to help people, and he was willing to put his resources and his energy and his money where his mouth was in order to make the lives of people better. Sure, his story doesn't end up that well if you look at it from the standpoint of him dying in obscurity. But at the end of the day, for what it was worth, there was a moment along the way in his life where he had the satisfaction of knowing he was doing the right thing. Now, I'm a pastor. I spend a lot of time talking with people. I spend a lot of time dealing with people. I spend a lot of time with people who want to get it right and want something to work in their lives. And so here's my best advice to you. You just keep doing the right thing, the God thing. And no matter how people react to it, no matter whether you're recognized or not for it, whether they appreciate it or not, if you keep doing the right thing, there is an audience of one who will see it, who will bless it, and will make sure that you're taken care of. Because he never leaves you. He never forsakes you because he loves you. That's Jesus Christ. And so, a spiritual lesson woven into the lost history of Florida that had everything to do with mosquitoes and Florida heat and history that disappeared. And a name out of the history books come back to life, Dr. John Gorrie. I look forward to joining you next time.